I became interested in technology and coding since this is not because I'm a genius or the new Steve Jobs or anything, but generally I like to play games on my iPad. My dream is to be able to write code and hack the game so that I could get whatever I want, but it never happened. When I started IGCSE, I selected computer science with a dream of attending USC at MIT. However, when I studied biology, it made me realize how surprisingly interesting it was, which inspired me to be a doctor. So I think that biotechnology can bring my two passions together. Let me show you how. It's clear that our life expectancy have increased exponentially over the past few hundred years. Before the 1900s, it seemed to be almost impossible to live beyond 50. However, in today's society, that's not the case. For example, people in Japan have an average life expectancy over 83 years old. This is because of the improvement in medical technologies from vaccines to medical equipment, which is a lot safer and more accurate. I will now discuss a few examples of these that probably relate to most of you in the audience in some way. During the recent COVID-19 global pandemic, focus has turned on the vaccines. Currently, there are 4 types of vaccines that are being developed. One, the nucleic acid, is the use of genetic materials such as RNA and DNA to provide the cells to create antigens. Antigens are proteins found on the surface of cells that trigger an immune system to produce antibodies to fight off the pathogens. Protein subunit vaccines use pieces of the pathogen, often fragments of protein, to trigger an immune response, the whole pathogen. Any conventional vaccines use whole virus to trigger an immune response. Weakened or dead pathogens are used in order to not cause illness and ensure that it cannot replicate, but it will still trigger an immune response. 4. Lastly, the viral vector, which is the use of modified version of a different virus to give the cell instruction to produce antigen. For example, with COVID-19, the virus that was used to make the vaccine is not actually the virus that causes COVID, but a related harmless virus. This triggers our immune system to begin producing antibodies and activating other immune cells to fight off what it thinks is an infection. On to another example and a quick fact. In 1936, researchers applied electrical impulse to stimulate the heartbeats in patients whose heart has stopped beating. The pacemaker was born. But what is a pacemaker? The pacemaker is a device that is surgically inserted and used to control the rate and rhythm of the heartbeat. At the time, it was an incredible step forward in medicine. And more recently, it has been improved even further in the modern day. The pacemaker has been connected to the IoT. Once the device is born, it will start collecting ECG information and send it directly via Wi-Fi to the IoT cloud. This helps the patient to view the real-time data, which will provide the patient with timely feedback on the condition of their heart and at a cheaper price than going to a hospital. Today, technologies allow us to optimize our health on an individual basis to improve our life expectancy. For example, the Iot Ring. The Iot Ring, which is a ring consisting of 4 major hardware components: infrared transmitter, small OLED display, IMU sensor, and capacitive touch. This encompasses health monitoring, fitness tracking, contactless payment, and provides a panic button. The panic button is the button that, when pressed, sends a wireless signal to monitoring staff and alerts them that there's an emergency. This will also help the user to be able to know how much sleep they actually got per night and monitor components such as blood sugar and blood pressure level. in the future, maybe around 6 and 7 years time, when I actually get to be a doctor as I hope to be, technologies and medicine will have moved forward exponentially. But what might that look like? Perhaps we might use 3D printers to create biological tissues, artificial limbs, pills, blood vessels, and more. With doctors using 3D printing to make products that specifically match a patient's anatomy, another likely step in the future of medicine will be the utilization of huge amounts of data from genetic sequencing, analysis of an individual's specific and unique DNA sequence, which will hopefully doctors to make more accurate diagnosis and design personalized and effective treatment. Technology used wisely truly has the potential to make the world a better place, which is an exciting time to be alive. Thank you.